Alright. Name is Dale. Doing the new album review for Jim Jones, El Capo. This review is done on behalf of Audio Liquor Magazine. Gonna give you a brief history on Jim Jones as I know it. You know, he's with the Dipset crew that consists of Cameron, Joel Santana, Freaky Zeke, and himself, Jim Jones. I first became aware of Jim Jones on the first Cameron album that he did on the Rockefeller label. Not his very first album, but the first album on the Rockefeller label when he signed with Dame Dash and Jay-Z. Come Home With Me. That was the name of the album. And Jim Jones came off to me like a hype man, doing ad-libs. He would rap here and there, but I didn't really hear him rap as much as he did when they brought out the first Dipset album. And I really liked the first Dipset album, Diplomatic Immunity. It was a double CD, double album. And now I have to be honest, mostly due to the production. You had the Heatmakerz, and I guess you can consider this new Jim Jones El Capo album a Jim Jones and Heatmakerz album, because I believe their name is on the front of the art cover, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, that was my first introduction to the Heatmakerz. I never were aware of them beforehand. So they became like the in-house producers for Dipset. And they also had Just Blaze doing production on that Dipset album. So I was listening to the Joe Budden podcast, him and his fellas on there. They was talking about how Jim Jones has always made good music, and he's the best out of Dipset, and he's even past Cameron. He's more consistent than Cameron with bringing out quality albums. And I guess I can agree with the second part of that opinion, because I'm not really a big Cameron fan. I mean, he's okay. I don't think he's whack. Even though sometimes he says, in the past he said some lines, I'll be like, what the fuck? But anyway, I can't agree with Jim Jones always putting out good music. Now, granted, I haven't heard all his albums. I didn't hear his previous albums. His previous album before this one called Wasted Talent, I didn't hear that. I didn't hear a couple of albums previous to even that one. But I do have heard his first three albums, and they were just mediocre to me. They had a few good songs on all three of them joints, but overall, those albums were just So this is his new album with the Heatmakerz. El Capo is by far his best album that I've heard. He seems to be getting better as he gets older. I mean, at first he was just passable, you know. He wasn't really, when he rapped, he wasn't like saying, oh, he's whack, but at the same time, he really didn't impress you. He's starting to impress me, not just with this new album, but I heard him on a few features on a couple of other people's albums earlier this year and late last year, and he's impressed me. He's getting better with time, so I gotta give it up to him. And the Heatmakerz, if you're not familiar with their production, they're sample heavy. They can go from sampling a real popular old song and flipping it, and they can go to sampling an obscure old song that no one's really aware of and make magic with that too. I really like their production. They kind of like started off in the era where they had the speed up soul samples. They still got it. Really hadn't heard from them in a long time. I did hear them do some production on this Fred the Godson and Joel Ortiz project that came out not too long ago, and that was really the first time I heard from them in a long time that I know of. But anyway, we're gonna get into the review of this new album. The content, the lyrics are basically about hustling, drug selling, street life, shit talking, bragging, flossing, crack music. It doesn't really go any other direction but in that vein. I'm not going to talk about all the songs in detail. I believe it's like 16 tracks total. It was a few songs that I didn't care for, maybe like, I don't know, 4, 5 tracks that I didn't care for, but those 5 tracks weren't whack at all. It was nothing that felt out of place on this joint. It's nothing that I could say, why did he do that? Why did he make that song? It's a very consistent album. I gotta give him credit for that. The first track I'm going to is Crystal Occasions. That's the very first song. Hard way to start off the album. They use a scene from the Paid in Full movie at the end. They say, I love the hustle. I be like them ball playing niggas. I laugh every time I hear that. It's been used a few times in the past on other people's joints, but it makes me laugh every time I hear it. You got another track called Love the Hustle featuring Trev. I guess he's doing the auto-tune effect, harmonizing and singing on the hook. I dig the use of the Marvin Gaye singing sample throughout the beat. No heavy bass drums, but it still works. I dig it. Got another track called Make No Issues of It. I dig the drums. A hard but odd beat. It's kind of odd, but I still dig it. It works. Got another track called NYC featuring Fat Joe. It's like a New York City street anthem. I like the sped up singing sample on the hook. It just screams hard body New York hip hop. And you got another joint called Pity in the Summer, Pity in the Summer, featuring Cameron, Fred the Godson. I really dig the sample singing on the hook. It's like head knob music. It'll have your head like, just going. A nice song to ride to. I dig it. You got another joint called My Era, featuring Mano and Drama, singing on the hook. The beat is nasty. You got another joint called Nothing Lasts, featuring Fabulous. If you had told me before hearing this song that they used the Lionel Richie All Night Long sample, I would have just assumed I wasn't going to like it. I was going to assume that it was some corny joint that's a reach for radio play, some club party track. But I was wrong. It works. Don't get me wrong. I like the Lionel Richie song All Night Long, but I just never thought you would be able to freak it and make me like it and make it appeal to my hip hop ears. If that make any sense. And I think this song could get radio play and should get played in any situation you in. It's that type of song. It's a nice joint. I like it. Got singing on the hook. I really dig it. And then you got another joint called Cocaine Dreamin' featuring Dave East. The beat is hard, ugly face music. Got another joint called Sports Cars featuring Currency. A hard gospel sample with a hip hop beat to it. Nice. You got another joint called Song Boxing. A very short but strong track. I dig it. I think it's one long verse. Then you got another song that ends the whole album called Don't Know What They Took Him For. It's a long title for a song. Don't Know What They Took Him For. Featuring Jadakiss. Like I said, it's a nice way to end the whole project. I think it's also featuring this guy I never heard of called Filthy Rich. He raps on there. He's okay. He's pretty good on there. This album is your classic. It has your classic New York street sound. It doesn't really depart from that. It's New York from beginning to end. And I can appreciate that. It really kind of takes you back to maybe the early 2000s or mid 2000s. But it still sounds fresh, if that makes any sense. And I would give this album a B, a strong B. Like I say, I was surprised how much I like it. And there you have it. Go online and get it.